I stood frozen outside the conference room, my lunch bag slipping from my fingers. Brianna's voice cut through the glass door like a knife through butter. Sharp, clear, proud. "Maya actually thinks I'm her friend," she laughed. "Can you believe it? I've been copying her campaign notes for weeks. Marcus loves my presentations now. That promotion is practically mine already." The others laughed with her, that awful knowing laughter that made my stomach twist into knots. My best friend at work, the person I trusted with everything, the woman I'd helped learn the company's systems when she first started. She wasn't just stealing my work. She was celebrating it. My hands trembled as I backed away from the door. My heart pounded so hard, I thought everyone could hear it. The hallway suddenly felt too bright, too loud, too real. "My name is Maya Torres," I whispered to the empty corridor. And this was the moment I stopped being the nice girl who let things happen to her. 6 months earlier, Brianna Cole walked into Horizon Digital wearing a bright yellow dress and a smile that could light up a city. She was everything I wasn't. Loud, confident, bubbly, always ready with a joke or compliment. I was assigned to train her. We clicked instantly, or so I thought. We grabbed coffee every morning before work. We shared stories about our terrible dating lives and our big dreams. She called me her work wife. I introduced her to everyone important. I shared my strategies, my templates, my hard-earned knowledge about what Marcus liked in presentations. Looking back now, I see how carefully she watched me, how she took notes on everything I did, how she studied my success like a textbook she planned to copy from. I was so blind. Marcus Reed called an emergency team meeting on a Tuesday morning. His grey suit was crisp, his expression serious. "Valencia Tech wants a complete digital rebrand," he announced. "They're our biggest potential client. Whoever leads this campaign successfully is looking at senior creative director. This is career-making, people." My pulse quickened. I'd been at Horizon Digital for 3 years. I worked late nights and weekends. I'd built campaigns that doubled client engagement. I deserved this chance. Marcus looked directly at me. "Maya, you're leading this. You've earned it. Your strategy work has been exceptional." I tried to keep my face professional, but inside I was soaring. This was everything I'd worked for. Brianna squeezed my shoulder. "Congratulations, girl. You're going to crush this." Her smile seemed genuine. The next day, Brianna appeared at my desk with 2 lattes. "So, I was thinking," she said, settling into the chair across from me. "This Valencia campaign is huge. You're going to be swamped. What if I help you with research and initial drafts? You know, take some pressure off." I hesitated for just a second. Something felt off about her eager expression. But then I pushed the feeling away. This was my friend, my work wife. Why would I doubt her? "That would actually be really helpful," I admitted. "I am kind of overwhelmed." "Perfect. Just share the project folder with me. I'll handle the boring stuff so you can focus on the big picture." I gave her full access that afternoon. The biggest mistake of my career started with a simple click of the share button. 2 weeks into the campaign, something strange started happening. Marcus stopped including me in client check-ins. Instead, he'd call Brianna into his office for quick updates. "Brianna has some fresh ideas," he said when I asked about it. "She's bringing an energy to this that's really impressive." Energy? I'd been working 16-hour days. I'd created 3 complete campaign strategies. Every idea came from my research, my vision, my late nights. But Brianna was in Marcus's office, laughing and chatting while I sat at my desk staring at spreadsheets. A cold, uncomfortable feeling settled in my chest. Something was very wrong, but I couldn't prove it yet. I told myself I was being paranoid, that Brianna was just being helpful, keeping Marcus updated so I could focus on work. The monthly team meeting arrived. I'd stayed up until 3 in the morning, finalizing the campaign mock-ups. I was exhausted, but proud. This was solid work. Marcus pulled up a presentation on the big screen. "Everyone, I want you to see what exceptional work looks like. Brianna, this first draft you submitted is outstanding." My blood went cold. Those were my slides, my words, my design choices, even the specific shade of blue I'd chosen after hours of colour theory research. Everyone clapped. Brianna stood up and gave a little bow, her face glowing with false modesty. Across the conference table, she caught my eye. For just a second, her smile turned sharp. Knowing. Then she mouthed, "Thank you." My hands clenched under the table so hard my knuckles turned white. I tried logging into the shared Valencia folder that night. Access denied. My heart dropped into my stomach. I checked the permissions. Only 2 people had access now, Marcus and Brianna. I'd been locked out of my own project. My fingers hovered over my keyboard. I could email Marcus, I could demand answers, I could make a scene. But something stopped me. Some instinct told me that reacting emotionally would make me look jealous, petty, unstable. Everything Marcus already seemed to think I was compared to bright, energetic Brianna. Instead, I opened a new folder on my personal laptop. I named it Evidence. If Brianna wanted to play games, I'd learn the rules first, then I'd change them. Which brings us back to that horrible moment outside the conference room. Me, frozen, listening to my best friend mock me to a group of colleagues I barely knew. "Maya's so naive," Brianna continued. "She does all the hard work and I just polish it up and present it better. Marcus doesn't care who creates it, he cares who sells it. And let's be honest, Maya has 0 stage presence." Someone asked, "Doesn't that feel wrong?" "Please," Brianna scoffed. "This is business. She should have protected her work better. Not my fault she's too trusting." More laughter. I picked up my lunch bag from the floor. My hands were steady now. My mind was crystal clear. I walked away from that door with a new understanding. Brianna had shown me exactly who she was. Now I just needed to let her destroy herself. Something fundamental shifted inside me that afternoon. The hurt was still there, burning under my ribs, but it was controlled now, focused. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to confront her. I wasn't going to storm into Marcus's office, demanding justice. Those were emotional reactions, and emotional reactions made you look unstable, especially when you were a woman in a competitive workplace. No, I was going to be smart. Brianna thought I was weak because I was kind. She thought I was stupid because I trusted her. She thought she'd already won because Marcus believed her polished presentations over my quiet competence. She was wrong about all of it. People like Brianna always made mistakes. They got cocky. They got careless. I just needed to document everything and wait for her to slip. I started watching Brianna differently after that day. Not with hurt feelings, but with strategic attention. I noticed how she name-dropped constantly in meetings, taking credit for team ideas, how she laughed too loud at Marcus's jokes, how she stayed late only when Marcus stayed late, making sure he saw her dedication. She was good at office politics, but she wasn't good at the actual work. Every campaign she'd ever led before joining my project had been mediocre. She knew how to sell ideas, but not how to create them. That was her weakness. She could present my work beautifully because I'd done all the thinking, but if someone asked her to explain the strategy behind it, she'd crumble. I smiled to myself. Knowledge was power. I started building my evidence file methodically. Every email I'd sent with campaign ideas, saved. Every time-stamped version of documents I'd created before Brianna had access, downloaded and organised. Every meeting invite showing I'd led the strategy sessions, screenshot and filed. I wasn't planning revenge. I was planning survival. In a workplace where your word meant nothing against someone more charismatic, evidence meant everything. I also started keeping a detailed journal. Dates, times, who said what. Not because I wanted to report Brianna, but because I knew that if this situation exploded, I needed to be able to defend myself with facts, not feelings. My roommate asked why I seemed so calm. "Aren't you angry?" she asked. I was, but anger without strategy was just noise. Valencia Tech had a corporate policy I'd forgotten about during the chaos. They recorded all major client presentations for their internal training program and quality assurance. Every campaign pitch, every strategy session, everything. The recordings lived on their partner portal, accessible to all their agency partners and internal teams for learning purposes. I'd sat through their onboarding presentation months ago when we first signed them. The Valencia representative had been very clear. We believe in transparency and continuous improvement. All our sessions are documented. At the time, it seemed like just another corporate policy. Now, sitting at my desk late one night, I remembered, and a small, dangerous hope flickered in my chest. I didn't know it yet, but my salvation was already waiting in a cloud server. The final presentation was scheduled for a Friday morning. Valencia Tech's marketing director and 3 executives would attend via video conference. This was the big moment. Land this account, and whoever led the presentation would be fast-tracked to senior director. Brianna arrived wearing a designer suit I knew she couldn't afford. Her hair was perfect. Her confidence radiated across the office. Marcus pulled me aside before the meeting. I want you to observe today, Maya. Take notes. Watch how Brianna presents. You could learn a lot about client engagement from her style. My jaw tightened, but I nodded politely. Of course. Inside, something fierce whispered, let her present. Let her take full ownership. Let her claim every word she didn't write. The bigger the lie, the harder the fall. The presentation started smoothly. Brianna had clearly rehearsed her opening. She smiled at the camera, her voice warm and professional. Then she got to the strategy section. She stumbled over the target demographic data. She said millennial consumers when the entire campaign was designed for Gen Z. She mispronounced psychographic as psychographic. The Valencia marketing director's eyebrows raised slightly. Brianna's smile flickered. Her hands trembled as she clicked to the next slide. She was reading words she didn't understand, explaining concepts she hadn't developed. Watching her panic should have felt satisfying. Instead, it just felt sad. This was what happened when you built your career on lies. Eventually, you had to perform, and you had nothing real to stand on. The Valencia director leaned forward on the video screen. This is impressive work. Who developed the core strategy? Brianna didn't hesitate. I did. Every aspect of it. I've been leading this campaign from day one. The lie was so bold, so complete, that for a second I couldn't breathe. Marcus beamed at her proud, The Valencia team nodded, making notes. And I sat there, watching my work. My late nights, my research, my creative vision, being claimed by someone else in front of everyone who mattered. But I didn't interrupt, I didn't correct her. Because I knew what was coming next, and it was going to be devastating. The Valencia executives weren't nodding in agreement. They were preparing to test her. The Valencia marketing director pulled up a document on her screen. I have some technical questions about the implementation strategy. Can you walk us through your logic on the social media algorithm targeting? Brianna's face went blank. Well, the algorithm targeting it's based on standard industry practices. Which specific practices? The common ones for engagement. The director's expression hardened. What about the cross-platform integration you mentioned? How does that connect to the conversion funnel strategy on slide 12? Brianna looked at Marcus desperately, then at me. Actually, she said, her voice strained, Maya assisted with some of the technical details. Maybe she can explain that specific section. Marcus looked annoyed, but the Valencia team was already focused on me, waiting. My moment had arrived. I sat up straighter. My voice was calm, clear, professional. The cross-platform integration leverages Valencia Tech's existing customer data to create personalized content pathways. On Instagram, we target awareness through visual storytelling. On TikTok, we focus on authentic user-generated content that resonates with Gen Z values. The conversion funnel then guides users through educational content on YouTube before moving them to decision stage content on your website. I explained the algorithm targeting, the A/B testing strategy, the budget allocation across platforms. I answered every question thoroughly, confidently. Because I'd created it, I understood every detail. The Valencia executives' expressions shifted from skepticism to interest to genuine respect. Brianna looked like she might be sick. Marcus's face was unreadable, but his jaw was clenched tight. The presentation ended with Valencia requesting detailed follow-up materials directly from me. I didn't expect what happened next. Valencia Tech uploaded the full presentation recording to their partner portal the following Monday. It was standard procedure. All sessions went into their training library for their global teams to study. But this recording was special. It showed Brianna confidently claiming my work. It showed her stumbling through basic questions. It showed her desperately throwing me under the bus when she couldn't answer. And it showed me calmly, expertly, explaining every detail of a campaign I'd supposedly only assisted with. Someone from one of Valencia's partner agencies watched it. They posted a 2-minute clip to a professional marketing forum with the caption, "This is why you should let the person who did the work present the work." Within 48 hours, the video had spread across 3 professional networks. People weren't gossiping. They were analysing it like a case study. Marketing professionals dissected every moment. Comment threads grew into the hundreds. Look at how confidently she claims credit at minute 4, then completely falls apart at minute 7. The actual strategist had to save the entire presentation. This is embarrassing. Why is management giving credit to the person who can't explain the work? This is what happens when companies value presentation over substance. Nobody knew our names yet. The video was clipped to remove identifying details. But within our industry, within our city's marketing community, people were sharing it with knowing looks. Several people tagged Horizon Digital's company page. Is this your team? Because your management needs training on recognizing actual talent. Marcus's phone started ringing off the hook. This wasn't public shame. It was worse. It was professional humiliation. Marcus called an emergency meeting on Wednesday morning. His face was pale, his usual confidence shattered. "We have a situation," he said tightly. "A video from the Valencia presentation has gone viral in the marketing community. This is creating serious concerns about our company's credibility." He avoided looking at Brianna directly. "The Valencia team has reached out. They're concerned about the discrepancy between who presented and who actually developed the strategy." Someone from legal had pulled all the email records. The timestamps showed exactly when I'd created each document. They showed Brianna being given access weeks after the initial strategy was developed. Marcus had no cover. He'd backed the wrong person, and now it was public knowledge in our industry. His career was damaged too. That realization hit me harder than I expected. He'd been complicit in this. Brianna tried to defend herself in that meeting. Her voice cracked as she spoke, mascara smudging under her eyes. "This is all being taken out of context," she insisted. "I helped develop that campaign. I contributed ideas. Maya's just upset that I present better than she does." But Marcus cut her off. "Brianna, we've reviewed the documentation. Every major strategy document was created by Maya before you were granted access to the folder. I polished it. I made it presentable. You claimed you developed it from day one, on camera, to our most important potential client." The room was silent. Brianna looked at me then, really looked at me. Her expression shifted from defiance to something like disbelief. She genuinely thought I was too weak to fight back, too nice to let her fall. She'd been so wrong. The HR meeting happened on Friday. 3 days after the video went viral, Brianna sat across from me, her usual brightness completely gone. She looked small, defeated. Marcus wasn't in the room. He was in a separate meeting with the executive team, explaining how he'd failed to verify the work Had praised so highly. The HR director laid out the findings clearly: email, timestamps, document version histories, the Valencia recording showing the knowledge gap. Brianna, you misrepresented your contributions to a major client pitch. That's a serious ethical violation. Maya, we apologize for the oversight in recognizing your work. This should never have happened. The decision was already made before we walked in. Brianna was terminated for professional misconduct. Marcus was demoted to account manager, removed from all leadership responsibilities. I walked out of that office feeling strangely hollow. This wasn't the victory I had imagined. The email arrived the following Tuesday morning. The subject line read, "Career Opportunity Valencia Tech." My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Maya, we were extremely impressed by your work on the campaign strategy and your professionalism during the presentation. Valencia Tech is expanding our in-house creative team, and we'd like to offer you a position as senior creative strategist. The role comes with a significant salary increase, full benefits, and the opportunity to lead campaigns for our global markets. I read it 3 times to make sure it was real. They wanted me. Not the person who presented well. Not the person who knew how to charm executives. Hria. Me, the quiet strategist who did the actual work. The girl who'd been overlooked, stolen from, humiliated. They saw my value when my own company couldn't. I submitted my resignation to Horizon Digital 2 weeks later. My letter was professional, polite, brief. No dramatic speeches about justice or betrayal, no bitter accusations. Just a simple, I have accepted a position that better aligns with my career goals. Thank you for the opportunities. Marcus asked to meet with me before I left. He looked tired, older somehow. I'm sorry, Maya. I should have paid closer attention. I let presentation style cloud my judgment about substance. I nodded. Thank you for saying that. There was nothing else to say. I packed my desk on a quiet Friday afternoon. A few colleagues stopped by to say goodbye. Some seemed genuinely sad. Others just looked uncomfortable. As I walked out of Horizon Digital for the last time, carrying a small box of personal items, I felt something unexpected. Peace. I didn't destroy Brianna's career. She did that herself by building it on stolen foundations. I didn't expose her. The truth exposed itself when she was forced to defend work she didn't understand. I didn't ruin Marcus's reputation. He ruined it by choosing charisma over competence. All I did was stay calm, document facts, answer questions honestly when asked. The world saw the truth without me forcing it into the light. And the biggest lesson I learned through all of this: never diminish your own work to make someone else shine brighter. Never hide your knowledge to seem less threatening. Never sacrifice your career to protect someone else's lies. Because the right people will always recognize real talent, even if it takes time, even if it comes quietly, even if it starts with a viral video you never planned. I start at Valencia Tech next Monday. And this time, I'm not sharing my login credentials with anyone.